How important is it to be meeting face-to-face with Secretary Rubio at this time?
Well, look, people will ask questions about every visitation you have and every meeting you have internationally, but this is certainly one important meeting, but also with the defence people in terms of the defence advisor, security advisor, and also other members of the Trump team, so to speak, or those very, very close to it. It's extraordinarily important.
Why is that? Why is it extraordinarily important?
Well, because of the economic circumstances that the world is in right now, the post-COVID recovery or lack of it in many of the economies, and also because of the government's policies here in America that have dramatically changed the scene.
This meeting has been in the works for a while now, and you have had a phone call with Secretary Rubio, but you haven't met face-to-face. What do you know about him?
Well, when you say in the works, we were getting ready way before the American elections last year in November. We were getting ready way before that because we believed that there was a high possibility, some of us sort of certainty, of change. That would mean change policies. And so it was important for us to keep the best of information we could and contacts ready to go when the government changed, and change it did.
That's long-term planning.
Well, no, it's just coming into politics with your eyes wide open. Pretty important, really.
Rules seem to be changing at any moment at this point in time. What type of diplomacy needs to be enacted right now?
Well, look, a lot of this was foreseeable. It's just that often people wait until it does happen before they realise that what was forecast will become a reality. What needs to happen right now will keep our nerve. Wait till the dust settles before we rush in and make any preliminary decisions, so to speak.
What do you mean a lot of this is foreseeable, that the sort of instability in the world?
Well, when Trump was campaigning, he was making certain statements. We all make statements in the campaign and we're expected to fulfill them. And he is. So it's not a question what we think about it, it's how it affects us and our future. And in our future, we talk about the Blue Pacific, of which we're a huge part of the world. About 31% is the blue continent, so to speak. Our job is to make sure we can do our very best for ourselves and for them.
How do you plan to solidify those ties that are already there between New Zealand and the US?
Well, you're asking me to give you a forecast of what might happen. No, we're going to walk in using all the experience we've got about this business called politics and international affairs, and hear the Secretary of State out, hear the points of view when it comes to what they want from us, what they want from our neighbourhood, and see what we can do with respect to that, and make sure, though, that before we leave, they know how we feel.
How do we feel?
Well, we're an important democracy. Only 9 countries can make this claim. It's not an idle boast to have been around this long, standing up for democracy, the principles of the rule of law. These are fundamentals, and New Zealand is a small country whose word and standing should count.
Where's that balance in terms of, you say that we're here to listen, to go in and see, we don't start at shadows, but you're going to make it clear how we feel. Where's that balance?
Well, it's not a matter of balance. We're going to get the best we possibly can out of this series of meetings for a country called New Zealand.
And in terms of what chance does New Zealand really have, though, in terms of selling its case? Like you say, we're a small nation.
Well, I'm here because we happen to believe, despite a lot of predictions, that we've got every chance.
What's going to be expected of New Zealand in the current climate? Could we expect similar messaging around defence spending that Australia's received?
Well, it's not the current climate. This has been a climate that's been around a long time. When we were last in government between 2017 and 2020, we stepped up big time. We renewed much of our Air Force utilities and other areas as well. So we're not coming for the first time. And we've said it for a long time that this country is going to have to start pulling its weight. Not claiming to punch above its weight and not doing that. No, we've got to pull our weight.
How will that be realised in the constrained fiscal environment that New Zealand's facing?
Well, now you're asking like you're somebody that's come here from Treasury, and I'm talking about a country called New Zealand with all portfolios of interest, because in the end, that'll be part and parcel of our future economic success and critical to it.
Closer to home, New Zealand is facing increasing Chinese presence in the region. What consequences are there if the US withdraws from that region?
From what region?
The Pacific region.
Well, it can't withdraw from the Pacific region. It's in the Pacific now. It's a Pacific country. West coast of America is on the Pacific coast. The point is, what more could they do to ensure that in a difficult geostrategic environment, there is balance?
What more could they do?
Yes.
In your opinion?
Well, every meeting I've ever had with the Americans since I was down, not very far from here, at George Bush, the later president, then vice president's place 44 years ago, has been based on those fundamentals.
You do have
Stop laughing.
You have significant experience, and you come here as a very well-versed foreign minister. You've secured a range of meetings that have informed you for this very significant meeting. We're in a fascinating time. How do we do this? How do you navigate this diplomatic dance at this time?
Well, the reality is we've done an enormous amount of research. We're seriously well prepared. We're coming here with confidence that plain common sense, which I happen to use very frequently, and so does somebody else in the world's political strata use as well, that plain common sense for both of us and our neighbourhoods prevail.
But things can change rapidly. What we've seen is that President Trump can change his mind or make decisions, and things can go in a way that we might not expect. The Oval Office meeting, for example, with President Zelensky, that was quite a different type of diplomacy, would you say?
I don't make any comment on matters that are not directly affecting this purpose of this visit right here, right now.
Why is that in terms of not commenting on other issues?
Because it's plain common sense not to interfere in something that's not part of your mandate, so to speak. I wasn't there, I don't know the background. I'm concerned to make sure that nothing goes wrong in this meeting or series of meetings.
What's the line, though, in terms of where it is or does become New Zealand's responsibility to stand up and say something?
Look, we haven't got a whole week to have this interview. I can tell you all the lines are and how long we've been drawing them and how long we've been standing behind them. But this is about this very, very important visit to, first of all, New York, to get the background, and then to Washington as well. And I'll let you know how it goes.
Just on Ukraine, the Prime Minister's obviously had the phone call with other leaders in the coalition of the willing. We haven't been asked formally to be involved at this stage. Secretary Rubio was in that Oval Office meeting. He has been instrumental in the conversations around the ceasefire. Will you be seeking any information around that and the potential for New Zealand's involvement?
Oh, I think it might come up. We would appreciate Secretary Rubio telling us his views. Most certainly we'd be interested in that, but as far as that goes, that's not what this trip is about.
You spoke about the amount of preparation that's gone into this, significant amount.
Mm.
What would be a success here? What would be the best possible outcome of these meetings?
Oh, look, I think President Trump fancies himself as a bit of a card player. You don't start reading out the profits of your cards before you start playing them, and we haven't had a chance yet.
Are you a card player?
It won't be my first card game, no.
Thank you. We might leave it there.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.